This is the Chris and Aaron Show with Kristen, Zach, and Aaron Camaro.
And that's in there, man. Every word you'd want is in this song. So anyway, if you guys are going to play that song, that's my pick. From Slow, Deep, and Hard. It's unsuccessfully coping with the natural beauty of infidelity.
Now, didn't...
Can we pause for a second?
Yeah, no problem.
So bad it hurts.
It's the pitfalls of drinking beer while podcasting.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't get to see the Pod Shack.
Do what?
I didn't get to see the Pod Shack. I understand there was a party after the expo
yeah.
at the Pod Shack.
You'll have to do it next year.
Yeah,
It's
funny.
yeah.
Well, hopefully he's just not going out the door.
Oh yeah, we walk around the side of the building and piss. Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. It's like a real studio.
I can picture having it in my garden shed and just taking a leak out the door.
Sure, but if you come next year, just be prepared to pack a liver.
Oh yeah, you look my limits too, and then you guys would be drawing dicks on my forehead. So
well, we had Wally and Rich come out from Canada, and boy, none of us could keep up with them. They were like pounding whiskey.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Well, I have to tell you I'm such a I'm so weak with the booze. After the expo, I thought about going to that gig, but I thought I was going to end up in bed early. And I went to Scoreboard and had some hot chicken. It was better at Prince's, by the way.
Yeah.
I had some, but it's in the hood. So I had some hot chicken, and I had this like 64-ounce beer that was 8%.
Yeah.
And I stumbled back to the hotel, and I spent $22 ordering a pint of ice cream on Uber Eats.
Jesus, Sandy. Rock and roll.
I know it is rock. It's very rock and roll. And I slept through the night, which is even
that's amazing.
That's a surprise. Yeah. But I ended up kind of catching my second wind, and I took everybody's panels and edited them and put them on a format where they could listen to them.
Well, that was and they were great. They turned out really good.
Yeah, they did sound good, except for poor John Lamoureux.
Yeah. Poor John.
And I've apologized to him, and the guy's a sweetheart. He really is.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy.
He's got these gigantic meaty hands that will kill any wireless transmitter that's held in his hand. But he really did. He seemed like the sweetest guy, and I've listened to his podcast. He interviewed the dude from Redbone a couple weeks ago, and the stories. I mean, stories.
Yeah, John gets a lot of really good stuff out of his interviews. I've enjoyed the stuff I've listened to from him.
Well, and here's how I know that poor guy is like allergic to technology. His interview with and I can't remember the guy's name from Redbone. It was plagued with recording problems.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's like, oh, this poor guy.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've tried to tell him, I'm like, you please upgrade your microphone, because it's the way it is now. It sounds like a Blog Talk Radio show.
Oh,
it's like,
that sucks.
Like both sides sound like a phone call, that's the only drawback to it. I've told him, like, your show's too good to have this bad audio quality.
Yeah, because that'll turn people off.
It will.
And I really did feel bad. His was the only session where it stopped recording in the middle. And the wireless had problems. That had to do with him putting his hand over the antenna. Yeah. And then his podcast. But really, a super sweet guy, and he's got a lot of compelling stuff on his show.
Yeah, he just had Bob Rock on his show. I'm looking forward to listening to that one. And I'm gonna talk to him and see if he could maybe put in a word for Bob Rock coming to the expo next year.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love to have him.
Is Bob Rock in Nashville?
No, he's in Vancouver. But he would be one that would be worth flying out for.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's. I mean, it could only be possible that the only guy you're going to get that sold more records than him is probably Michael Wagner.
Yeah.
And then put those two together to do something.
Yeah.
And that could be a dead heat,
Yeah, they both have incredible resumes.
All right, so we got off topic while Aaron was taking a leak.
I'm good
are
to
you
go
guys
now.
playing this one?
A hooer?
A whore. You fucking whore.
You got to address it in a typo negative way.
Like Dice Clay. You fucking whore.
I always remember that, like, listening to typo negative, it'd be like, hooer. And you're like, what? I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And then it's like you realize later, like, oh, that's the Brooklyn way of calling somebody a whore. They're a whore.
A whore.
It's badass.
Yeah, I'm going to have to listen to more of their stuff.
Especially around Halloween.
Maybe I'll play that for the trick-or-treaters.
I did that one year. One year we did Sabbath. Another year I did Typo Negative. This year I was going to do that Glenn Danzig CD, but I think Halloween's dead.
It's not what it used to be.
They don't trick-or-treat like they used to.
No.
Like when we were kids, I mean, we'd go out trick-or-treat once, come back, change costumes, and go out and do it again.
It looks like Spotify's got every one of their albums.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a band that was cut short, you know. Peter Steele should have been one of those guys that was like an old man with white hair, you know, and you're like talking about, I might still do a Typo Negative album.
Yeah. There's all their stuff's on here.
I want to check out some of them other bands that are still going. And I really think it'd be cool to get one of those guys that are surviving members to, you know, do one on Bloody Kisses with us. Or even October Rust, or really any of them.
I don't know who's even... So,
okay, I gotta imagine even Dead Again, you know, the last one's gotta have a pretty fucking interesting story to go along with it.
Yeah, because it's right at the end.
Because it's really based, I guess his story is really based on where Peter Steele's at, you know, if he's the band leader of it all, you know.
So it'd be Kenny Hickey,
yeah,
Josh Silver, or Johnny Kelly.
Yeah.
Let's see which one of them we could. Well, it looks like. I guess Josh Silver would probably be the best one to get because he seemed like he was more like the kind of the co-leader of the band. He was the keyboardist, producer, and backing vocalist.
I just remember about him was when I seen Typo Negative live, his keyboard was on this like swivel thing where he'd push it and it would go down to the ground and then bounce back up. It was like on this like cylinder deal where he would move it around. You know, it wasn't like he was just standing there playing the keyboards, but it was on this swivel where it would move back and forth with him.
I just sent him a friend request. We have a lot of friends in common.
We were just talking about you, dude.
We have 25 friends in common with him on Facebook. Jeremy Owsley's one of them. Wonder if he ever drove for them.
I wonder. Jeremy Owsley's got some Typo Negative stories. That never came up when we talked to him. Maybe he didn't realize we were Typo Negative fans.
I'd love to have him back out on the show again.
Yeah.
He was so fun to talk to the first time.
Yeah. He's our rock and roll bus driver for sure.
Yeah. Josh Silver posts pretty regularly, looks like. So I'll have to check into that. Maybe I can get him to come on.
That's cool. And then I told you about Darren Householder, right?
Yeah.
From Love Hate.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to. I went for it that one time, and he agreed to it. That Eric Dover about doing a Albums Unleashed on It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, really?
I really. That's one of my.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. That's definitely one of my bucket list Album Unleashed that I want to do. If we can't get Slash, you know.
Yeah.
But he agreed to do it at one time, but damn, that was like a fucking year ago. And I was like, yeah, dude, we'll let you know when we get it together enough to do it.
I'm just so gun-shy about the Skype thing.
That does suck. And that's what I told the dude from Love Hate. And I was like, you know, that's always the first thing I put out there or something like that. You know, it's like, if you're ever in Music City, brother, you know, we got a studio and you can come over and hang out and this and that. But if you're not, I guess we could do it Skype. You know, and that's always the way I try to put it to people because I don't think they realize how much better it always goes in person.
Yeah. So, speaking of Skype, do you want to line up Josh or Sean Franklin to do that Anthrax episode?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
He's
Sean was really good the last time he was on.
Yeah, he's really wanting to come on and do it. So, and I think it comes out like in the next week.
Oh, it's good timing to do it then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a reissue of State of Euphoria.
That's a great album.
Euphoria.
That was one. I always wondered about that when I was young. You know, when I think back to that, about how, like, the answers weren't so instantaneous as they are nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, if you had a question about something, you just fucking Google it. Back then, if you had a question about something, you were just left to wonder.
Right.
Like, I remember around that time when that album was coming out. That was like around Crazy Nights time, I think, ish, around in that area, or the same ballpark. But I remember there was the Kiss Anthrax connection because Anthrax had come forward and said they were huge Kiss fans. Yeah. And then they came out with the song, I think, Who Dares Wins?
Yeah, and Kiss was going to call Crazy Nights that. Yeah,
and Kiss was going to call Crazy Nights that. At the time, like, we didn't know that was going to become Crazy Nights.
Right.
And then it was like, wait a minute, now there's this Kiss Anthrax connection, and they were talking about this title. And now Anthrax got a song on their album called this. Is there some connection there? And I always wondered that when I was young, but I never found out.
I don't know if there is or not. I mean, it could have been.
Like, was this a song that Kiss wrote and gave to Anthrax?
I doubt that.
No.
But the Anthrax,
Anthrax hear that and be like, "That's fucking awesome. Let's use that for an album or for a song title on the new album."
I don't know. I wonder how it went.
Coincidence,
like
I guess. Probably.
I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that Anthrax getting to open for them on the Crazy Nights tour was more the work of Eric Carr than anything else.
Really?
Yeah, because he was a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
And they were giant Kiss fans, but I'm sure Paul and Gene probably didn't have a fucking clue who they were.
Probably not. I think I see Gene and Paul as being pretty self-absorbed in those days.
So I think Eric Carr probably was like,
if you're not Bon Jovi, we don't care.
Yeah, because I think Eric Carr probably went to them and was like, these guys are getting traction and they're big fans, and I'd love to have them open. Because they were not the right pick for the opener for that tour in particular.
No.
If Anthrax had opened for the Revenge tour, it would have made more sense because Kiss was doing a more of a heavy thing.
But then again, look at what State of Euphoria was. That was pretty light compared to what Anthrax had done in the past.
They were a tad goofy at that time.
Yeah.
But they had always liked that they had a sense of humor, though. They almost were like thrash metal Alice Coopers,
kind of,
because there was always like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
Well, and then I Am the Man,
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he had the same experience as me, listening to that on cassette tape, hiding it from your parents.
Right.
Make sure they didn't hear you listening to it, and then feeling like you're getting away with something as you're listening to it.
Me and my brother always would ride around with our friend and listen to it in his car.
Yeah.
Because it was like the kind of the flavor of the week at the time. And it was just so wild that Anthrax is doing thrash guitars and there's rap going on at the same. It was just so weird, but it was entertaining.
Really, truly, probably the first rap song I ever heard.
It was, but it always cracked me up that the melody is that old Jewish. Was it Havia Naga or something? Yeah, that's what you hear at bar mitzvahs.
I'm guessing that must be a Scott Ian thing.
Well, yeah, probably.
Because you're like, how do you take that and play it on electric guitar? Well, I know how to play
I didn't know it at the time, though. And then
I've been
later
playing
on,
that since I was a little chutzpah.
Yeah, later on, I think Scott Ian had mentioned it in an interview. He was like, well, it's just an old Jewish melody from bar mitzvahs. And I was like, holy shit, it is.
It totally is.
It's the same thing you heard at bar mitzvahs.
All right.
Awesome, man.
That was great, man.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
No.
I can be verbose.
No, you were great,
that
man.
That was fantastic.
Aaron's got to piss again. I'm going to have to piss again soon too.
That was really good.
But yeah, no, that was awesome. I'm excited to put that together with the music and everything.
Yeah, and I think it's if you need All Hallows Eve, I can get it to you.
Okay, or I'll just use the magic of YouTube if I have to.
All right, yeah, I can put it in the Dropbox. And if there was a song to open it up, the Black Number One with the kind of the is it the Munsters, the Addams Family kind of a thing that it's got about it. So
Okay.
that would be my pick for the
intro. Okay, no, that's good because I'll need something.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. It's just it's fantastic to how much I like the podcast and how much I appreciate you guys. And if anybody needs a commercial for VIP, I know I've told you that I've spent $200 a year for the last 10 years to listen to Howard Stern, who puts out as many shows as you guys do.
Yeah.
So $5 or $10, it might be $20 a month. Yeah, it's $20 a month because I'm paying $5 an episode. Yeah, it's well worth it.
Oh, thank you.
One of the highlights of the expo for me, I got to spend about 5 minutes talking to Michelle, who probably wonders why people know anything about her. but I got to chat with her, and it was that was a lot of fun. And I told her my take on being a VIP is that these guys give me some entertainment. If I'm paying for some of the server time or something, buying them beer, whatever, that's fantastic. That's what I want to do. But yeah, she's great. I had a lot of fun talking to her.
Well, thanks. Yeah, she never listens to the show, but she's appreciated. She tolerates it. That's enough for me.
Right on.
Well, she's like, a friend of mine plays music and has also done some independent film and stuff. And his wife knows that if she is going to have a happy husband, she has to let him sort of get out his creativity.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. The worst thing you can do is like pent up art, or pent up your creativity, because I know me, it drives me nuts.
Oh, me too. I was
always
miserable
have
before
something.
This. Yeah.
But man, at the expo, you helped me out so much. You were absolutely the most awesome dude I ever worked with in any kind of live event setting in anything I've ever done. Because I mean, I've been in the middle of wrestling rings in front of 5,000 people screaming my fucking lungs out trying to get, because the dude won't turn the microphone up loud enough, but man, you helped me. I was like, that night I was just like, holy shit, Andy Connors, that guy, if I could have only had him at every single wrestling show I've ever worked.
Well, I wish I could tell you that it's completely altruistic, but I went to Derek Oliver's first Kiss Expo where the production was horrid. And I was back channeling with Chris about your first podcast expo, saying, look, if you smell a rat about production, here's some of the things that I could help you out with. And that one, the dude with the venue and the gear was not great. The recorded result and the result in the room wasn't that great. And then we were all at the Atlanta Kiss Expo where the production was dreadful.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for your podcast expo. I wanted to be able to listen to clean podcasts and be able to sit there and hear it.
Yeah, you were great.
So that's why I wanted to jump in and do that. And like I told you before, I don't do sound gigs for money anymore. the operative word there is for money. I don't do it for money. It's got to have a damn good reason to do it.
Well, I definitely want you to come back next year if you're up for it. Yeah,
the only conflict that comes up for me is a trade show I possibly have to go to that's in Atlantic City. But it didn't matter so much this time around. The time I worked out great.
Do you have a date for that one already?
Let's see if look, don't do it just for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at you now, man. We're changing around the expo date just for you, baby.
Well, I'm looking at venues, and there's a lot of factors that'll play in, but it would help to
you
know
guys,
if
you guys got digital there.
Huh?
You guys got digital there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
So actually, there's not a date on their website yet.
Okay.
But it was in August. I think you were talking about maybe getting into September anyway. But
I'm actually looking at moving it up earlier. I'm probably the 10th or the 17th of August.
No, yeah. Well, one of my coworkers probably needs to go to that DJ Expo instead of me.
Okay.
It's Atlantic City. How do you get to Atlantic City? You fly to Philly, you take a 4-hour flight to Philly, and then a $200 Uber ride into Atlantic City. It's dreadful. But one of my coworkers is a DJ, and he'd rather go to that than me.
Well, we can just do whatever right now.
Are we already going?
Yeah, we're already going.
Okay. So, hello everybody.
Yeah.
It's a triage unit around here.
Sure is. It's been a hell of a week.
Yes, it has.
I held up the Decibel Geek podcast. We were supposed to record on Monday. Here we are on
Thursday.
Oh, shit. It's Thursday.
Yeah, we pretty much missed a week.
Yeah.
Because by the time I got to help my wife with some stuff this weekend, so probably Sunday night before the new one gets out.
Yeah.
So it's.
I guess when we record the intro, we'll just have to explain to it. But I still sound like shit anyway. So.
Well, I got all the notes for the intro and everything.
Oh, nice.
So we can do all of it tonight.
Okay, cool.
But then Sunday, so we're doing Chris and Aaron show now. Sunday, we're going to have an interesting conversation with an interesting person who worked with an even more interesting person.
We're bringing back the Vinnie Vincent special.
Yep, we're doing a new one. It's by popular demand. But it's going to be an interesting. Joe D'Angelo from The Gathering, Kiss Cruise pre-party, is now done working with Vinnie, and he's ready to come on and talk about the whole experience.
Wow.
And there's a lot to say. I've talked to Joe through this whole process, and I've kept my mouth shut.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of stuff to tell you.
I'm really excited to hear his story about what we all saw, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, should we got
to kind of save that for Torpedo Dudes, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Torpedo Dudes is a real thing now. No one sent me any better ideas, so we're going with it. Toomey seemed happy about it. So okay. Yeah. Either that or he's just egging us on because it sounds awful.
It does sound awful. Yeah. Awfully awesome.
Let's take like one of the worst Ace songs and make it into the inspiration.
Well, like we said, we went down the list. Everything else was taken.
This one was your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. As we were just kind of running down the list of different things. I mean, even Talk To Me. That could be a Kiss podcast.
It could.
You know, talking Ace songs off of Unmasked.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a real thing.
I was kind of let down when I found out that wasn't an Ace Frehley podcast.
Oh, really?
No.
Nobody's done an Ace Frehley podcast. That's something to consider, too.
Spacecast.
It's
not about space. It's about Ace Frehley.
No Tommy Thayer.
Well, no, you couldn't do Tommy Thayer.
All right, let's not talk about Kiss.
Yeah.
We're going to save that for the other show that you're going to have to listen to now.
Anything interesting going on in the news and rock music?
Let's take a look.
I'm so out of the loop on everything.
I follow stuff, but just piecemeal. But let's go to...
It's like that typo negative. All that typo negative last week put me in the grave for the weekend and half the week.
Yeah, it got good feedback, though. People seem to really enjoy it.
That's cool.
I had a few haters, but...
Really?
Yeah, overall, it's all right. Well, we're about to talk with Sean Franklin about State of Euphoria's re-release, and then they announced today that they're going to do one for Persistence of Time.
Awesome.
Which will be cool. Blabbermouth Wednesday 13 says there's no reason why a Murder Dolls reunion couldn't happen.
Yeah, why not? Murder Dolls come out with good music.
Yeah.
Good metal. I like Murder Dolls. That was one of them bands back in like the early 2000s when like things were starting to kind of turn around. Mm-hmm. And Murder Dolls didn't really fit with none of the other bands that were out, like, because Slipknot was really big, and I guess that was probably about the closest thing.
Right.
But they had that kind of glam thing going on too.
Yeah.
And I always thought Stevie Wednesday 13's vocals always kind of remind me of Stevie Rochelle a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I dug that when it come out because it was new, it was different, but it was still kind of like a throwback to some Kiss, Alice Cooper kind of glam rock kind of stuff.
Kane Roberts has a new solo song.
Right on.
So that's pretty cool.
I was just listening to some Kane Roberts, Alice Cooper not too long ago. Raise Your Fist and Yell. That's a tough album. Some of it's really good, some of it's...
It's a mixed bag. Yeah, it was a weird time for Alice.
Yeah, it was. I was looking at kind of like... I was trying to complete my Alice Cooper on my iPod. And so I was pulling in some of the albums that I didn't have on there. I didn't have Trashed on there, but that one's even kind of hit and miss for me too. It's like Trashed, Hey Stupid, and Raise Your Fist and Yell. They're all kind of like Alice Cooper trying to do what's popular at that time.
Yeah, and Constrictor,
which I've gotten such an appreciation for albums like Dada and Zipper Catches Skin and shit like that it's like, okay, here's Alice Cooper just being off the deep end, but he's totally being his own artist.
Right.
What he's coming up with is total Alice Cooper. It ain't him trying to be anything else but what he is at that moment, a drug-addled madman, but, nonetheless, it's all comes out really authentic, and I really dig that a lot. And then to listen to those albums where it's, kind of like Kiss and some of them, their weird stuff where it comes off as contrived to me, where it's like you're trying too hard to be something else, but man, you're Alice fucking Cooper, people should try to emulate you.
Right.
You just do you, whatever that may be.
I think though, I don't know, it's because he was as much as we love the Blackout era, he was chasing trends through that. Dada was its own thing.
Yeah.
But, he was trying to be new wave on a lot of that stuff.
I guess, yeah, we're all clones and all that stuff.
Which it's good material, but it's also, flavor of the month stuff. And,
right, true. The first time I heard that song, I did not realize it was Alice Cooper.
Oh, really? But I don't know. He's been really chasing trends for a long time, I guess.
So.
But it didn't... There's things I find that I like, but some of the songs where you can just tell he was a bit lost.
Yeah.
But he was also a different person. He wasn't doing drugs and alcohol anymore. So
Right. And then you got, Kip Winger and Paul Taylor in the band, and you got Kane Roberts on guitar. What's the music going to turn out like? That's you're building an awesome 80s band right there.
And I saw an interview with Jakey Lee talking about that I get apparently right before it was either before or after Osmosis. Zach was on Osmosis, right?
Yeah.
After Osmosis, when Zach left the band, Sharon came to Jake and asked if he'd be interested in coming back to play with Ozzy.
Oh, that would have been fucking awesome. Was that around that time where he ended up getting that Joe Holmes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And then
young guy.
But Jake said, "I'll do it on one condition: you give me my writing credit for Bark at the Moon."
Yeah.
And they said nope. So they could have had him back just to give him so he could get some damn royalties for his work. But they played hardball with him, wouldn't let him do it. So then it was right before they got Gus G in the band.
Oh, Gus G, yeah.
But he could have been Jakey Lee instead.
How wild would that have been?
It would have been awesome.
That would have been fucking awesome.
But Ozzy still packs arenas, so they probably like, what's the point? He's not going to sell tickets for us. So
yeah.
They didn't need the tickets to be sold. But
that's true. I mean, as cool as it would have been for the fans, especially the older ones that were there when Jakey Lee was in the band, the Ultimate Sin stuff, which that is a killer album. I think it gets overlooked a lot, but
I love it.
I love it too. There really isn't a bad song on the whole thing.
But he's doing the press because of the new Red Dragon Cartel. Have you heard any of that?
No,
It's grown on me. From first listen, it doesn't really do as much for me as the first one did.
Is it the same singer?
Yeah. The guy who's the drummer in the Canadian band. Oh, geez. Now I'm blanking out. Huh. He's the drummer in...
Nickelback?
No, and it's a band I like. Why can I not think of it right now? My brain is mush.
That's been a hell of a week, man.
It's a band that we both like. Jesus Christ, this is bad.
Is it Billy Talent?
No, it's an older band.
I'm trying to think of Canadian bands that I really
His name's
like.
Darren Smith.
Oh, Triumph? What else?
Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, my brain is mush.
I'm gonna hate it when I realize what band it is because it's a band I like. Let me see if I can find it.
That's where my brain's at. It's like I'm too wore out to even give it more thought, take any more guesses. I'll just sit back and sleep until you come up with the answer.
Jesus. Well, damn. And everybody's yelling at their iPhone.
Yeah,
right now.
I hope you guys are.
He's the drummer in...
We're sick and dumb.
Holy shit. I can't believe it. I can't... Well, fuck.
Well, just look it up.
I'm trying. It's
Red Dragon Cartel.
Well, I can look up... I see plenty of stuff about Red Dragon Cartel, but I can't... Fuck.
Just go to the Wikipedia.
Damn it.
And then
I can't believe I'm blanking on this band's name because I like this band.
I'm going to laugh when you say it because we all know it.
Yeah. Aaron James Smith.
I didn't realize that, though, that he was a drummer for a different band.
Yeah. It's a really good band, too. Fuck. All right, come on, Google. Do your thing.
What an awesome episode.
Yeah, I know. Let's listen to Chris search Google. Hang on. I'll find out in a second. Harem Scarum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the drummer for Harem Scarum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Duh. I don't know. I knew it started with an H.
I guess I would have guessed that if I kept going a bit.
But yeah, he's their Jake's singer, which he caught a lot of flack. And I mean, he did act like an ass at the beginning, but I like his voice. I think it's unique.
I think the problem with the first one was easily the best song on that album was the one with Robin Zander on it.
I don't know if that was the best.
I think it was. That song is just killer.
I like
the one
Deceived,
with the chick too was pretty good.
The first one that has Darren singing.
But when you got them awesome guest singers on there, but then the rest of it's just your regular singer, it just kind of makes him appear like, here, this is special. But these are just regular songs, you know.
But the new stuff, it kind of sounds like he's trying to do the Badlands thing again.
Yeah.
But there's where
kind of bluesing it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot more bluesy, and it's good, but it's different. I don't know. It's not as hooky as the first album.
Yeah,
was. It's a little bit more just grittier.
Well, now if we get to meet Kiss when we go see him, you can tell Eric Singer you really like his work on the new Red Dragon Cartel.
Actually, Phil Verone's now their drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Anthony's still playing bass for him.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. But yeah, they've filmed 2 videos recently. Those are going to come out soon.
That's cool. I'll check that out.
But yeah, what I've heard of, I listened to it about half of it the other day, and it's okay. I need more spins though. It'll probably grow on me more.
Yeah.
But it's not blowing me away like I hoped it would. But yeah, we got to start really listening to a lot of stuff.
I know we're coming up at the end of the year. It's kind of my favorite time of the year because I really immerse myself into what all came out, because you can't always get everything as the year goes on, but then it's like cram session for the last 2 months of the year.
Yeah.
Like every year for Christmas I get CDs, but they're usually like brand new things that came out because I'm going, oh yeah, check this. I got to check this album out. Oh man, that's so good. I got to have that.
Right. And I was going to listen to some new stuff today, and then next thing I know, I'm listening to 3 hours of Thin Lizzy. So
yeah, well, you can't go wrong there either.
Yeah, but none of it's new.
No.
But yeah, I don't know.
I really always thank you for turning me on to Thin Lizzy, because I never considered myself a Thin Lizzy fan, because all I ever knew by them is what I heard on the radio. And what I heard on the radio,
Boys Are Back in Town.
I really didn't care for that too much.
That's about all you ever hear from them.
Yeah, but then like through you and your enthusiasm for the band, and then talking about them on the show, got me to like pick up some albums and listen to some backtrack stuff. And man, I fucking love Thin Lizzy.
There's a lot of great stuff.
There's a lot of great stuff. A lot of different eras it's all good.
We'll do a top 5 Thin Lizzy songs episode.
See, that'd be tough, but that's awesome. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. That would get a lot of listeners too, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'd be a cool perspective. Somebody that's been a fan for a long time, and somebody that's been a fan for just the last couple of years. A new fan.
I guess, but technically, I'm still a newer fan too.
Yeah.
I've only been into them for about 10 years.
Yeah, well, that's longer than I have.
I got into them through musicians that were big fans of theirs.
Yeah.
And they just kept hammering the point home. You got to get into them. You got to listen to them. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to them.
I always had a dude that I went to school with that I remember, Jimmy Busterud, and he always talked about, fuck Kiss, man, Thin Lizzy. I'm like, Thin Lizzy? The Boys Are Back in Town? Yeah, right. Better than Kiss. But, and if you're looking at it, you got to put them right up there with them.
But I think what I like about them is there's such a variance on their sound, which probably hindered them. But if you like a wide variety of stuff, you'll get into them, because there's like folky shit on the early albums.
Yeah, there's some weird artsy shit.
Then there's
on
like
some of it.
almost like jazz rock on some stuff. So like lounge. There's some songs sound like lounge act songs, but I like those too. But like, even I saw an interview with Scott Gorham. He's like, they'd be doing an album and they do one song that's like a rocker, and then they do another song where it's like sounds like a lounge singer thing. He's like, what the fuck are we?
Yeah, what are we?
Can we pick a sound, please? But they never really did. I mean, they did. If once, I think, I guess, Fighting was, that album was kind of them solidifying their sound, and then obviously with the Jailbreak, that was them really coming into theirs with the double guitars and all that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I was talking to Greg Troyan from Lipstick Panel today, and we were going back and forth about Thin Lizzy, and there's an album called Vagabonds of the Western World, and he thinks that's like their best album, and
let me guess, that's their most weirdest far out album.
No,
if I know anything about Greg,
no, it's a good album.
It's their Elder, right?
No.
What's Thin Lizzy's Elder?
Well, the first 2 albums are the 2 weirdest, because it's them before they figured out what they were. Because it's a lot of like Irish folk songs and shit like that, and it's okay, but it's not.
Back then, that's all they really knew.
Yeah, it's just a band that's kind of trying to figure out their sound. But Vagabonds is good. It's got good songs. I don't really care for how it's produced. And he was like, he's like, what's your favorite of the underrated Thin Lizzy? And then there's one called Nightlife, which has the real mix of them coming into their sound, but also loungy stuff that's kind of laid back and bluesy.
Yeah.
But I love that one. And he's like, that's my least favorite of all those. And I was like, well, what's your favorite of those? He's like, Vagabonds. Like,
Let me see. From what I'm familiar with, I got to look on my iPod what's on here, because I always put my.
But I mean, Black Rose is kind of hard to beat. I listened to Bad Reputation today, and that album's fucking awesome.
I like Johnny the Fox.
That's them and their kind of their, I guess if you could call it a peak.
Yeah.
But that one's kind of the weaker one of a lot of their peak stuff to me. I like it though.
And I also like Thunder and Lightning.
Oh, that's
a killer
that's their
album.
metal album.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I got the most.
That's the one with
songs
John
off
Sykes
of.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them trying. That's kind of them following trends though. I mean,
Yeah, because it was pretty heavy for Thin Lizzy.
I think Phil was like, all these metal bands are making waves and we need to do that. But I mean, I like it. There's great stuff on there.
I suppose because they're from,
I guess their elder is kind of, Renegade is considered their elder, really.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love that album. But that one gets panned by a lot of their fans. Let me look through.
Yeah, we could do that. Do an episode like different bands. What's Motley Crue's elder and what's...
You know what's funniest about Renegade, though, being their elder? It was also released in 81.
Yeah?
Yep, same year. But yeah, Renegade, though, I mean, it's got Angel of Death, which is one of the coolest Thin Lizzy songs there is. But it's got The Pressure Will Blow. That's awesome. Hollywood, which is...
I like Hollywood.
But it's just a rewrite of Boys Are Back in Town.
Kind of,
I mean, it's the same song.
Warrant does a really kick-ass cover of that.
They do.
Under
I've
the
heard
Influence.
that one. Yeah. But I don't know. But I love this record. I mean, it's got more keyboard stuff on it.
Yeah.
The title track's cool. But and then Chinatown, I think, is a little bit... People sleep on that one, but it's got great stuff. But they were real bad off on heroin at that point. That was... Phil and Scott were both really bad. That's what's called Chinatown. It's about fucking China White. But yeah, We Will Be Strong, the first track on there, that's fucking badass. Yeah, Killer on the Loose. That song rules.
See, that album I'm not real familiar with. Like I said, I'm still sort of...
It's really cleanly... It's cleanly produced. It's not as dirty sounding as a lot of their other stuff. Let's see who produced that one, because I don't even know. Kit Wolven. I don't even know who that is. But it's got a... Remember, like a lot of songs, a lot of albums around 1980 just had that real pristine sound, like that production technique. That it was them doing that. But some songs on it are kind of hit and miss, though. There's a song called Sugar Blues. It's not that great.
Have you gone and seen the new Queen movie yet?
Yeah, we saw it on Sunday night.
Yeah, how was it?
Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let me say, if you're nerdy about timelines and things being accurate as far as when they happened and how they happened, you're not going to like it.
This is a movie that's based on reality.
Yeah, which it's odd though because Brian and Roger were both heavily involved, but I guess you're trying to fit 15 years into a 2-hour movie,
right? Yeah,
but I think it was they were trying to say, what's going to make it flow the best and look the best. Although you can tell as you watch it that they're trying to cram so much into a short amount of time.
Right, because like you say, it's a whole freaking career.
Yeah.
And then you got to condense that. Can you imagine just taking your whole life and you're going to make a movie out of it, so you're going to pick moments.
Yeah. But there's scenes where like Freddie had already cut his hair and grown the mustache out, and they're writing "We Will Rock You." No, that's wrong. Yeah. They did a video for "We Will Rock You." He still had long hair and didn't have the mustache. It was like 3-4 years before.
Yeah.
But they were trying to fit it all in, and then certain things were just done out of order. And it didn't. I tried not to let it bother me though, because I'm like, let's just enjoy it as an entertaining movie that pays tribute to Freddie. But there were certain things they got wrong. But it was a fun movie. We were able to take my daughter, and she had a good time watching it because she's really into them.
Yeah.
But the costuming and the casting of the band, fucking amazing.
Right on.
The guy playing Brian May looks exactly like Brian May.
Yeah.
The guy playing Freddie looks exactly like Freddie.
That's cool.
And he had all the mannerisms down and everything. And then dude's
a good actor.
It's all a build up to the Live Aid show.
Yeah.
That's how it ends. Is basically a condensed version of their Live Aid set. And it's like 15 full minutes of their Live Aid set, which was like 25.
Kiss make any appearances in it?
No. They never toured with them.
No, but I'm sure they've had to have crossed paths somewhere.
Well, maybe, but I mean, the movie's about Queen. It's not about... They really don't... They don't talk much about other bands at all.
No, I just thought maybe like they'd be like, oh, God, look at this American band. They're breathing fire. And
no, they don't... Kiss isn't mentioned. There's some funny scenes where...
Every movie should have a Kiss mention in it, I think.
There's some funny scenes where, like, Mike Myers, who, from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Because, Wayne's World brought Queen back with the Bohemian Rhapsody scene. So Mike Myers plays the EMI record executive that was such an ass to them about, how they would do their songs and what songs would be singles and stuff. And they're in his office and talking about how he doesn't want Bohemian Rhapsody to be the single because he's like, it's 6 minutes. He's like, that's an eternity. And, that goes on forever. It's 6 minutes. And Freddie goes, I pity your wife if 6 minutes is forever. That was probably a real line that Freddie said too.
Yeah.
He was very, and didn't totally portray him as a super great guy either. It got into the dark side. because like everybody's like, oh, it needs to be accurate and reflect his real personal life, and like they give hints about his personal life, but I'm like, if you wanted to see Freddie Mercury's real personal life, it would be a XXX porno, because the guy was he lived it up. Like he was pretty depraved as far as his partying and choosing partners and all that. But then there's little hints of that, but they kept it family friendly. It's PG-13. Yeah. Which for my daughter, I was happy.
So it doesn't end with him like dying of AIDS?
No, it ends at Live Aid. Yeah, and then there's like, words come up at the end. Freddie died in 1991.
Right.
And one of the big...
Yeah, because that would have been a real bummer in the movie. It's all this celebration, this great band, and then all of a sudden, now here he is, he's wasting away to nothing, and he dies.
But the only thing that really bothered me with inaccuracies, but I get why they did it, but it's just kind of dumb, is they had him get his AIDS diagnosis right before Live Aid and tell the band. He didn't get his AIDS diagnosis for another 2 years.
Yeah.
And they did another
couple albums. Was the band even really still together at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were on hiatus before Live Aid. They kind of had to get back together because he went solo. And they also have the band getting pissed at him for going solo. Yeah. But Brian and Roger in real life had already done 2 solo albums. So it's kind of like they're taking some legal license with this.
I suppose it's all for drama and effect.
Yeah, I mean, but if you view it as if you're not paying attention to the accuracies, it's an enjoyable movie. Yeah. There are some corny parts that come off a little bit like a VH1 type rock bio.
Yeah.
But it's hard to make a rock bio not corny in ways.
Sure, because real life stories are corny enough.
Yeah, because if it was super accurate, you'd have a lot of time where they're sitting around studio fumbling around with a riff for 3.5 hours trying to make a song out of it. Right. Nobody's going to watch that.
No.
But yeah, overall, it's worth seeing though.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I'll have to check that out.
All right.
I guess we'll get ready to call Sean here pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.